Should have Christmas music, I guess. I think I could do that. I have to use like all not copyrighted music now. But you can watch me eat my Trader Joe's chocolate orange. Chocolate orange. Trader Joe's. Remember what they teach you in podcast school. Just do not eat while you're on the air. So, how are you? Now that I've got a mouthful of chocolate. What a blustery day. It's out again today. As soon as the calendar flipped to December, like the wind, the whole universe just changed. The wind is blowing. Every morning now it's in the 20s. Today is like nothing's going on, but the wind is roaring. The calendar knows. So here we are, creeping up on Christmas. I have three more sessions to go. Not really for Christmas though, so it's not really. I don't think maybe one of them is for a gift. I know two others aren't. So I'm knee deep in my going through making little videos and all my photos, getting stuff ready for Christmas, trying to stay ahead of the game. It gets tiring, but I'm going to do it. We haven't missed out on anybody yet. So we've got a couple to go, a couple sessions, a short session. I think I have two couple sessions. One I got to travel for. So usually December is pretty quiet because Christmas, all my people are in earlier in November or even before that. And you're just getting everything ready through December. So December, January aren't super busy months for me. You get maybe a person here or there, like I had a couple late people show up, but it's okay. Keeps me busy during Christmas. Doing my normal running around today. They're very parched. So aside from eating chocolate, just drinking some water. So how are you? Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for visiting the show. My name is Michael. I'm a woman's photographer from New Jersey, and we meet up here pretty much every week. And what we do is answer a question about boudoir photography you may have. Because if you've been listening to the show for a while, you can see it's a wacky, weird universe out there for boudoir photography. Don't ever accept anything as face value. Photographers have no idea what they're doing. It's all a mess. Kitchen nightmares, like I always say, and just because someone calls themselves a pro photographer, that doesn't mean anything. You've seen those shows on Kitchen Nightmares, moldy foods in the kitchen, the place is in chaos, and they're feeding that stuff to people, getting nauseous. And so it's not really any different in the world of boudoir photography. There's a lot of people out there who have no idea what they're doing, what's going on. So we're here to give you some information, important questions you should ask, things you should look out for, so you can make smart decisions when choosing your photographer. Go smoothly through your session and get photos you like and enjoy, can look back and have a pleasant experience and think about, oh yeah, that was a lot of fun to do. Because it's not that simple. It's not as easy as closing your eyes and pointing at a Google listing and that's my person. There's quite a bit more to it. And you listen to that episode we did last week, that's a pretty prime example of what we're talking about. And, that was a more instructional, kind of educational episode. If you haven't listened, we were talking about like this growing trend of women who are coming in and wanting to do boudoir photos with men that aren't their husbands. So roll back and listen to that episode. That was sort of a lot of information in there. And, we're jamming it in. We've got a lot of information in these shows and trying to get that out there so you can, as we said, make smart decisions. And this week, as we're barreling into Christmas season, and people want to know what essential items should I bring to my boudoir session. So this week, again, it's not a super dire episode, but we're going to be talking about some things that you should be prepared to bring along with you. We'll keep this one maybe a little bit shorter, but when I say that, it's probably not going to be super short because I start yapping and eating and drinking, and before you know it, it's 20 or 30 minutes, and you're like, Mike, shut up. I'm like, no, I have more to tell you. And you're like, Mike, please shut up. I'm like, no, I got more to tell you. And then it winds up being worth it at the end. So what? But today, again, is a bit more of an informational episode as I nauseate you as I continue to eat and drink on the show. But this is something that, women always have a question. What should I bring along? What should I wear? What do I need? What do I don't need? And photographers, for the most part, do a pretty good job with this, I think. But this is just my spin and my system. So this may not apply to everybody out there. These are just some of the details that I always give my clients and feel that they should bring along to their sessions because, some people are like, I don't know what to bring along. So I'm going to help you out. Not going to give you my Trader Joe's chocolate orange, but we'll give you some insight on what to bring to your boudoir session. So the thing about this is, and why I started making my guides, is because women would show up unprepared. And having the right things there helps you feel confident, helps you feel confident, comfortable, and prepared and ready to have like a great experience. And then what I noticed is people would show up. This is back in my early days, and I had one woman just come in with the clothes on her back, just like, that's it. I've had people show up, I've told this story before, who traveled, showed up with a suitcase with like a sweater in it, and that's it. You would think that people would, and most women I think, get into the prep session. It's exciting for them to buy things and go out and make a new purchase, even if you're not a lingerie person. But there's a group that just didn't know, didn't want to know. I never quite understood it, but would show up basically not prepared or wouldn't bring anything with them. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, oh. So I started to make guides, and they grew over the years of things. So just wanting people to be prepared, again, so they don't come in and feel like they missed out on something or were let down, or, oh, I wish I knew, or I should have brought this, or I should have brought that. And my guide has changed over the years, as boudoir has changed over the years, and I've changed how I've done my sessions over the years. So again, this is my interpretation of this. I don't think there's necessarily a right or wrong answer. This is sort of very personal. And what I'm not going into today is a list of 800 things you should bring along. I'm going to talk about a few things that I always thought were like sort of essentials to bring in my case, and a few other things, this or that kind of things to bring into your session. So the one thing is, really, you don't need a lot of stuff. 2 or 3 outfits, that's usually plenty. Sometimes you'll have people come in with suitcases and bring like 30 or 40 different things. I'm like, well, you're coming here for a week? And granted, changing is quick, and it's always good to have an extra thing, because sometimes something may not look the way you think it is, and quick change, and, it's you've got some different looks in there. I get it. But you probably only need really 2 or 3, like, really cute outfits, quality things. You don't have to go bananas buying 30 different bra sets and all this stuff. It's just not, it's not necessary. In my case, I say 2 or 3 outfits. And what I really kind of lean into is telling people to avoid cheapy $7.99 Amazon bodysuits that have no elasticity in them and will give you like front wedgies. And I remember when the Amazon bags started to show up, when people were coming in and doing their sessions, and then suddenly the sessions became flooded with this ill-fitting, really cheap-looking, cheesy lingerie. Because why would I want to spend $49 on a decent set when I can get something for $8? And it looked like $8. You know what I mean? It just never fit right. Things are popping out, and not the best way to prepare for a boudoir session. So I would say focus on 2 or 3 quality things. You don't need to go bananas buying tons and tons of items. and then you're fine. Bra sets, universal. You can use them for almost anything. My favorite's always been more traditional thing, lingerie with, stockings and stuff like that. If you're a corset person, anything like that. 2 or 3 kind of solid, cute, fun items, and you're good to go. In my case, I also always tell women to bring in a tight dress. Not everyone's a dress wearer, I get it, but if you are a tight dress, like, why would I bring a dress? Do I have to bring a dress? And we do this in my sessions pretty much because, when women come in a little bit anxious, and, we always do some regular portraits first in my session. They're like, I do portraits. And then it turns out afterwards, they're like, oh, I'm so happy we did that. And I use those pictures all the time because you don't have cute pictures of yourself. Nobody does. So those things get the most mileage because, you're not likely to show your boudoir photos to my mom, look at this. It's just, you're not sharing them like that. But those portraits will get like lots of mileage. So I always have people bring in cute dress. And in the video era, we use the cute dresses to kind of, for doing videos, kind of like undressing videos. So it gets a little bit of double duty. Another thing I always thought was like cute to bring in was a pair of jeans. Laying down, we did so many unbuttoning the jeans and standing with the jeans and unbuttoning. It's just kind of a regular practical thing that people have that look good in photos, maybe like a white tank top or just like a bra top or something like that. So if you're a jeans person, bring in jeans. If you're not a dress, bring in both. We use both. Again, another thing that is kind of universally everybody has that. You don't have to go and spend a lot of money. It looks good. There's a lot of cute jeans poses out there. And then I would always tell people to make sure at least to bring a couple things that were black. Colors are fine, but if you were especially someone who wanted to do things in black and white, bring in black underwear. Because when you have red or green on and you're trying to turn it into black and white, it doesn't look right. You have blue, it doesn't look right. You need black. So if you're a fan of black and white, bring your black undies or whatever you have in black. So that way, when it's converted into black and white, it looks normal. It looks right to do that. And then that's really it. It's not too complicated. That's why we call it the essentials. We're going to expand on this kind of a little bit. But you don't have to go crazy. Like I said, you don't need 47 outfits. You just need a couple things that really fit well. And I remember everybody was like Victoria's Secret for a while. That was a huge thing. And then some other online brands came in. The one I really like, I can't think of the name of it right now. Not Agent Provocateur. I forget the one. I'm going to try to look it up. Stalling here as my mouse doesn't work. I don't think I have it saved in my favorites, but there was another really cute lingerie brand. Honey Birdette. That's what it was. We started seeing those items pop out, really quality stuff. It's good to bring into a session. Just get something nice. Avoid the $7.99 bra sets, and definitely do not bring any porn type lingerie that you find like in a porn store. Any brands like that, it's just not the right thing. So avoid that stuff. Avoid cheap stuff. Get something that fits well, that looks good, and you'll be rewarded. Because remember, these pictures are going to be around for a really long time. Do you really want to commemorate yourself in a $7.99 Amazon bodysuit? Probably not. Probably not the best look you want to. So go get some Honey Birdette. How often are you coming in for a shoot? Do it. It's going to look cute. You're going to love it. Get out of that budget mentality like that. And treat yourself. And then a couple other things. If women want to somehow incorporate something of their husbands, I always tell them if they're going to work and they wear ties, bring their dress shirt and a tie. It's always cute to do. Or you have a lot of people bringing in sports jerseys, bringing their Giants jersey or their Jets jersey or Eagles or whatever. Well, not that you're going to put that in tons and tons of photos, but, you put one or two in there. Yay, Eagles or whatever. And that's cute. So that's kind of an essential to bring along if your husband's that kind of a person, And then other than that, what I used to run into a lot and still run into, women get anxious when they're coming in, and I always had to put in, just get sleep, go to bed the night before and rest. Because again, tired is one of the things you can't Photoshop off somebody's face. And like the number one thing that would happen, and I tell people to bring food, bring something. I didn't bring food. And what happens is people are a bit anxious, nervous when they get up, and they got that nervous energy, and maybe they don't eat when they're home or when they're coming in. And again, they got that nervous energy. And then what happens is they get there, they're getting their hair done, and they start doing their sessions. You're like, wow, this is really fun. And they suddenly, all those nerves go away because there's really nothing to be nervous about. And then what happens is you get that crash, and you'll see people like suddenly they go low energy, and like, I haven't eaten in a day and a half. I was so anxious, so people go on this crash. So if you're not, just bring something to snack on, granola bar, yogurt, something like that. If you don't think you've been eating, because when that crash comes, suddenly you're going to be hungry because you haven't eaten in a day. If you're a nervous type of person like that, definitely bring something along. Sleep, get your rest. I can't Photoshop away tired looks from your face. And then other things, optional but good. Manicure, pedicure, if you have time to go out and do something like that. And as I noted, and a lot of photographers work with stylists and makeup artists, but if that's part of your session, great. Or if you can add it onto your session, great. If your photographer doesn't include that and you have the time and the logistics, go out and get your hair done or your makeup done professionally before your session. And I touched on snacks already. Bring snack, bring a bottle of water. I explained why a moment ago, because people aren't eating. And then one thing is bring a robe. And find that sometimes you may be in a place or a building and you have whatever you have on or nothing on, and you got to walk around, or maybe there's a situation where there's a makeup person, or I don't know what's going on. You need to cover yourself up. So if you bring a robe along, you can move around from different moves in the building and you're covered up. That's the only other type of thing I would say bring along. And then, there are like some optional type of things, not an essential, but this boils down to if you have a certain type of shot or something you want to do in that session and you're maybe a little embarrassed to ask, again, because women are always super upfront about this. I want to, it just doesn't work that way. They may have ideas, but they're going to wait till they're comfortable and they're there usually before they bring up stuff like that. But, talk to your photographer again. If you plan on bringing in something, like handcuffs or something like that, make sure they're okay. Or maybe they have those things. I know I have those things because they were so common. Some photographers may have that. And some women would bring in these sexy kind of like boudoir masks and other kind of props like that. If you're doing something or if you're planning on doing something, again, maybe not in the mainstream of boudoir, check in with the photographer first. Something super erotic, or my husband loves it when I do this or this or this, and planning on veering off a little bit from your main boudoir type content. Again, always don't assume that your photographer is going to be okay with this or wants to produce that kind of stuff. As awkward as it may be, just check in with them ahead of time and say, hey, by the way, I don't know how to say this, but I thought it may be cute if I did X. Is that okay? And just get their blessing, make sure they're okay. Again, because the last thing you want to do is show up for your session and thinking in the back of your mind, oh yeah, this is fun. And I'm just going to drop it on her now that I feel like doing this. And she may go like, that's not what we do here. And then your session isn't kind of the way you want it to be, and you kind of miss out on a few things. So if you're doing something or planning on doing something outside of the realm of standard boudoir-y type stuff, just bring it up ahead of time in your consultation. And if there's anything sort of non-standard boudoir, you want to pose with a friend of yours or whatever, something like that, always just keep the photographer in the loop and make sure they're okay with it. So when you show up on session day, they're not horrified or they say they don't want to do it or that's not how they work. Because people think that someone's a women's photographer, a boudoir photographer, everything's on the table. It certainly, most definitely is not. Some photographers are very strict about the type of things they will do or won't do. So always check in if you're bringing something in that may not be standard boudoir. If you have some ideas that may go a little bit erotic this way or that way or whatever it may be outside of that, those boudoir standardy type riverbanks, and then have that chat and then bring along your props or accessories or whatever it is, so that way the photographer is informed. So that's what I got. That's what I got for you this week. In conclusion, bring your essentials. You don't need tons of things. You just want to feel amazing, comfortable, and be the best version of yourself. Don't buy everything that's $6.99 lingerie on Amazon and buy 800 things. Just get 2 or 3 high quality things, and it's a boudoir session, something you don't do every day. It's okay to splurge and get an outfit or two. You'll get utility from it. You could wear it afterwards. So just stick with a fewer, nicer things, 2 or 3 things, and then always, if you're not sure of something, chat with the photographer. If you think you're veering outside of those boudoir riverbeds to do something, inform the photographer or ask them ahead of time. Is it okay if I bring X? Is it okay if I bring Y? Is it okay if we do this or that? And then bring along, whatever props you want to, or that way they know what's sort of going on. Don't show up with something that they may be awkward or not really want to work with, and you wind up not having the best session you thought you could. So there we go. That's our show for this week. And, if you have any questions about any of this stuff, I'm always happy to have a quick chat about it. People reach out to me all the time. Or if you have a question you think we should cover on the show, just email me. I'm available on email. It's always fun to do and get new questions and talk about them. And you can see how, again, it's not as simple as straightforward as many people think it is. Boudoir photographers are a weird bunch. It's crazy out there. And Google doesn't know if someone's good or bad. They just rank people online. The top one doesn't mean the best one. It's a system that you have no idea. And as we talked about, there are boudoir photographers outsourcing photos and sending your private photos all around the universe. They're using your photos without your permission. There's people who just started their boudoir career like 3.5 weeks ago with absolutely no photography technical skills or ability, but yet they show up in those listings and they have no idea what they're doing. And Google doesn't know that. And you just see that. And, oh, look, and she really has no clue, and you're contacting her, and this is for a wedding gift, and you're leaving it to someone who has no idea what they're doing. Well, I don't really need that learning photography stuff. I'll figure it out as I go along. You really don't want to be one of those first people to walk into a situation like that. So as you've seen in the show, there's a lot of questions you need to ask. And again, a few episodes ago, I think we put a PDF in one of those episodes, or it's on a blog post, of a list of questions you should ask every boudoir photographer. And if they don't pass this test, thank them. And it's time to move on to somebody else. Because again, we want everyone to shop smart. Don't assume people know what they're doing. Ask a lot of questions. And you'll walk away with some cute photos. Have a good experience. And that's what we want. So that's all I got for you this week. Gonna have another slice of chocolate orange. And I think I'm cooking teeny tacos for dinner today. Gonna relax the rest of the day. Get some work done here. A couple more videos. That's how it goes. Getting ready for Christmas, and that's it. That's what I got for everybody this week, and talk to you next week, and thanks for listening. Bye-bye.